Yesterday, Sayadaw explained about Arata Viriya, and Sayadaw had not finished. Arata Viriya means effort that is asserted. Asserted effort is called Arata Viriya. Arata Viriya can also mean the person who asserts effort. The person who is accomplished with effort is called Arata Viriya. And the preceding Viriya and the succeeding Viriya should be continuous so that succeeding Viriya is preceding Viriya is supporting the succeeding Viriya. And Sayadaw says, one is not born with Viriya. One has to cultivate effort. One should be asserting effort so that effort should be continuous. If one can assert effort continuously for 1 minute, there will be 60 moments of effort. If one can assert effort for 5 minutes, there will be 300 moments of effort. And in 1 hour, there will be 3,600 moments of effort. So if we count this way, there will be many moments of effort, counting by hours, days, and so on. When one asserts effort over and over again, then preceding effort will support the succeeding effort, and thus effort will gain momentum. So that Viriya, effort, will not deteriorate, it will not stagnate in the middle, but it will be uplifted, up and up. The uplifted effort is called Bhagahita Viriya, uplifting, supporting effort. Sayadaw gives an example. If one pulls up an object, one should pull up in such a way that the object will not drop, it will not stagnate in the middle, but it will be uplifted. In the same way, when one asserts effort, the effort should not deteriorate, it should not stagnate in the middle, but it should be uplifted up and up. The kind of effort that is uplifted stage by stage is called Bhagahita Viriya. When a person possesses this kind of Bhagahita Viriya, uplifted Viriya, one can overcome laziness. Kosaja, laziness, can be overcome, and also other defilements can also be overcome. When it is said that kilesa defilements are overcome, it doesn't mean that one is removing the defilement that had arisen. But what it means here is overcoming kilesa defilements means not giving any chance for these kilesa to arise. And in this case, when one has viriya, one is not giving any chance for laziness to arise. One does not accept laziness from arising. Bhagahita Viriya does not give chance for laziness to arise. Bhagahita Viriya does not accept this laziness. Most of the people, when they are here for meditation retreat, some of them are lazy to practice, and it is like they are born with laziness. And when they are here for practice, they cannot assert effort, they cannot take this practice, intensive practice, and thus they are lazy. And Sayadaw gives an example. If a worm is coming into contact with salt, the warm flinches back, the warm withdraws. In the same way, a lazy person, when coming for meditation retreat, the person wants to flinch away, withdraw from practice, just like a worm who flinches away from salt. Some of the yogis, they are afraid to sit long. Some of them think if they are sitting for long, they are going to get sick, or they are going to get tension in the muscles, or if they are going to get pain and ache. So such kind of yogis who are lazy, who are afraid, they want to shift posture every now and then when they come across pain and ache. When they are shifting position, when they are shifting posture every now and then due to pain, they are not, their concentration, samadhi, will not be continuous. So if they are shifting position, if they are shifting posture every now and then, their viriya effort is not continuous. The preceding viriya and the succeeding viriya will not be continuous. Viriya will not gain momentum. If viriya does not gain momentum, sati, mindfulness, will not develop. If sati does not develop, samadhi, concentration, will not develop. And this kind of yogi will not be developing any kind of knowledge. He, she will be taking long time without developing knowledge. But the kind of yogi who has diligent effort, even though when they face problems and difficulties such as pains and ache, such kind of diligent yogi does not give up, even though he, she may come across problems such as pains and ache. So diligent yogis are determined in a way that I will not give up these pains and ache. I will note if they arise so that I will overcome these painful experiences. When the yogi notes these pain and aches diligently, yogi develops knowledge, yogi develops concentration as well as knowledge by noting the pain. When the yogi develops concentration and knowledge by noting the pain, yogi experiences that yogi sees the pain itself. So the location of the pain is not obvious anymore as the yogi sees the pain itself. So at this stage, yogi overcomes the pain. The yogi does not flinch or withdraw from the pain, but yogi notes the pain with diligence. So at this stage, yogi's viriya is not the launching up effort anymore, but when the yogi can overcome laziness, it can be called nikkama dhatu, which means the element of asserting effort in order to overcome laziness. When the yogi overcomes problems, then the viriya gains momentum, and especially when the yogi has overcome pains and aches, yogi becomes even more courageous, and his or her effort has gained more and more momentum. So even noting the pain seems pleasant to this diligent yogi, and the yogi feels joy even in noting the pain. So the pain has turned out to be a pleasant pain, and the yogi feels joy even in noting the pain. So when the pain has been overcome, yogi feels that noting the pain is very pleasant, and noting other objects are not as pleasant as noting the pain. So some of the yogis, they even want pain to arise so that they can note the pain and develop concentration and wisdom. So some of them, when they sit, they purposely sit on some stone, or sometimes they purposely sit very tight so that they will have pain to note. So at this stage, they are not afraid of pain anymore. They are practicing diligently. They are even hoping that pain will arise so that they can note carefully. They can note diligently. So in this kind of yogi, the preceding viriya, preceding effort, and the succeeding effort becomes continuous, and this effort gains momentum, so that this effort does not deteriorate, it does not stagnate in the middle, but it gains momentum, and the effort becomes uplifted. So the uplifted effort is called paripurna viriya. Paripurna viriya means accomplished effort. One should exert effort so that the noting mind will fall onto the object repeatedly over and over again. So the noting mind should fall onto the object continuously. Even if yogi encounters difficulty, she should not flinch away from the practice. She should not withdraw from the practice. If a yogi withdraws from practice when finding difficulties, it shows that the person is cowardly and does not have courage. One should have courage to note the object, and even if one encounters difficulty, one should be courageous. One should not withdraw from the practice. If a person withdraws from the practice, it shows that the person is cowardly, and one should be courageous not to withdraw from practice when she encounters difficulties. And also, the person, the yogi, must not be afraid of pains and aches. Yogi must not afraid to die. Yogi should practice without regard to one's body and life. When practicing for the kind of happiness that has guarantee, one should have strong will to practice. One should not be afraid to take the practice. One should not withdraw from the practice. Arada viriya, a person who has diligent effort, has the courage to refrain from things that should be refrained from, and the person has the courage to perform things that should be performed. A kusita person, a lazy, indolent person, does not have the courage to refrain from unwholesome deeds. Lazy person does not have courage to perform wholesome deeds. Failing to refrain from bad deeds, one can meet harm and danger. Failing to perform meritorious deeds, one does not get benefits. When yogi encounters pains and aches during the practice, one should not be afraid, and one should not withdraw from practice. Noting pains and aches, one can develop knowledge. And when noting pain, yogi should not have the purpose to get rid of the pain. Practicing Vipassana is observing Nama and Rupa phenomena which are arising as cause and effect, so that one will know the characteristics of impermanent suffering and non-self. So whatever object that arises, whether good or bad, yogi should note them all. Yogi should note objects, every object, so that one can develop knowledge. And yogi should not have the kind of idea that yogi should not have the kind of idea such as please the pain. Yogi should not wish for the pain not to appear. And when yogi encounters pain, yogi should not be afraid to note the pain, and yogi should not have the intention to get rid of the pain. When the pain arises, yogi should note the pain as it is. One should not be afraid to note the pain. At times, there can be dislikes on the pain, and one should not have dislike towards the pain. At times, yogi may be hoping for good experiences. It is called anurodha, which means compliance, when the yogi finds pleasant objects to note. And there should not be virodha. Yogi should not have dislike on the object when the object is not pleasurable. So there should neither be like nor dislike. Whatever the object is, whether good or bad, yogi should be noting them. Usually, people have likes and dislikes. When there is pleasant object, there is bound to be liking, and one should not have likes. And when there are undesirable objects, there can be dislikes, but yogi should not have likes nor dislikes on the object. Whether one object is good or bad, there should not be likes nor dislikes. What is more important is to be mindful of the object so that knowledge will develop. Yogis should have the aim and objective of developing knowledge. By practicing, by observing the object, one lazy or indolent. Lazy, indolent person cannot refrain from things that should be refrained from, and lazy, indolent person cannot perform things that should be performed. Only diligent person does not accept unwholesomeness from arising. Only diligent person can perform wholesome deeds. One should assert effort so that the effort will not deteriorate. It should not stagnate in the middle. One should uplift one effort continuously without resting, so that this effort will gain momentum, and it is called arata viriya. When arata viriya is present, this arata viriya does not accept unwholesomeness. Having arata viriya, one develops wholesomeness completely, successfully. Arata viriya does not accept unwholesomeness. It means that it blocks the path of unwholesomeness. Unwholesomeness, which has lobha, greed as chief, has no chance to arise. The kind of unwholesomeness that has dosa, anger as chief, has no chance to arise. And when one develops panya, knowledge, the unwholesomeness that has moha, delusion as chief, has no chance to arise. In this way, the path of unwholesomeness is blocked when viriya, effort, gains momentum. Having effort that has momentum, one is blocking, one is closing the way, the path of unwholesomeness, and thus unwholesomeness has no chance to arise. Unwholesomeness is not accepted having this viriya effort. What will arise is wholesomeness. Wholesomeness, the path of wholesomeness will be opened. and one should exert effort to note the presently arising object. When one exerts effort to note the object, the noting mind sticks onto the object, and it is called Upatthana. Mindfulness is firmly established on the object of meditation. The more one exerts effort, the stronger the mindfulness will be. So the stronger the mindfulness, the noting mind will stick onto the object, and thus bhavana citta, wholesome consciousness that has mindfulness as chief, will arise. When there is bhavana citta, the noting mind, the mind will not slip away from the object. The mind will be calm and collected, and the mind will stick onto the object. So when the mind is calm and collected, it will not be like the ball being rolled down the hill, but instead the mind is calm and collected. It is called avikepo samadhi. The mind is not distracted. It will not be dispersed, but the mind is unified, calm and collected, and it is called samadhi. When there is effort, when there is strong effort, when effort gains momentum, one will develop sati and samadhi, mindfulness and concentration. If one wants sustained mindfulness, one should exert ardent effort. Having sustained mindfulness, the mind will not run elsewhere, but the mind will fall calm and collected on the object, and thus samadhi, concentration, will also be developed. In order to develop sati and samadhi, mindfulness and concentration, one should exert effort to note the presently arising object. One should be diligent, one should be courageous, and note the presently arising object. When there is diligent effort, there will be mindfulness, sati, and samadhi, concentration, and thus the path of unwholesomeness will be blocked, and the path of wholesomeness will be opened. And thus, wholesome deeds will arise in momentum, in great momentum. And when these mental factors of viriya, sati and samadhi, effort, mindfulness and concentration are present, each of them has their own characteristic and function. Viriya has usahana lakkhana. Having viriya, one does not withdraw even if one encounters difficulty. When one encounters difficulty, one faces the difficulty with gritted teeth, not giving this difficulty to gain victory on oneself, not giving up to these difficulties. So that's why viriya has usahana lakkhana. It has the characteristics of not giving up even though one encounters difficulties. At times, one may think whether one should withdraw when one encounters difficulty. But when one understands the benefit of effort, one does not give up. One faces the difficulty with gritted teeth. So the mind that is slack becomes energetic and courageous. It is like supporting an old house, prompting an old house with a pillar. In the same way, viriya can support the mind so that the mind becomes energetic and courageous, and it is also one of the qualities of viriya. Having effort, viriya, the mind will not withdraw. The mind will be supported by viriya, effort. And also, the characteristic function and manifestation of sati can be known. When noting the object, when sati is present, the noting mind sinks into the object. When noting the object, when the yogi exerts effort in order to propel the noting mind towards the object, the mind sinks into the object. Just as when a stone is thrown into the water, the stone sinks in water. In the same way, having mindfulness present, the noting mind sinks into the object. It is the characteristic of mindfulness that the mind sinks into the object. Having mindfulness present, the mind does not lose sight of the object. One should put effort so that one does not lose sight of the object, such as rising and falling of the abdomen. It is called asamosa rasa. It means that mindfulness has this function of not losing sight of the object. The stronger the viriya is, the stronger the mindfulness will be. And having this strong mindfulness, the noting mind sinks into the object. And also, the mind will not lose sight of the object. As much as one exerts effort, the noting mind and the object will be face to face or direct with the object, and thus kilesa defilements that can arise by lack of mindfulness has no chance to arise when mindfulness is present. In this way, sati, mindfulness, guards or protects the mind from kilesa defilements. And it is said that araka pachupatthana, sati, mindfulness, has the manifestation of guarding or protecting the mind away from kilesa defilements. Having sati present, the mind is guarded, protected from these mental pollutants. When there is sustained mindfulness, the noting mind sticks onto the object. The mind does not run elsewhere. The mind will not be distracted. It will not be dispersed or scattered. It is called avikepo samadhi. When when concentration is present, the mind will not be distracted or scattered or dispersed. So it is the characteristic of samadhi. Samadhi has the characteristic of not letting the mind to be distracted or dispersed, or not distract the mindfulness. Concentration has the characteristic of not letting the mind disperse, distracted. Concentration unifies the mind, and the mind will fall calm and collected on the object. When the yogi exerts effort in the practice to note the presently arising object, mindfulness will be developed. When mindfulness is present, the noting mind sinks into the object. And also, the mind will be calm and collected. The mind will be unified. So, concentration unifies and collects the mind so that the mind is calm and collected. When the mind is calm and collected and unified due to concentration, the mind will not be agitated by raga, lust, and the mind is not agitated by dosa, anger or hatred, and thus there will be Santi, there will be peace. As much one can exert effort, the mindfulness and concentration will become stronger and stronger. When viriya, effort, gains momentum, kilesa, defilement, and unwholesomeness will be blocked. The path of kilesa, defilements, and unwholesomeness will be blocked, and the path of wholesomeness will be open. So having this viriya present, there will be a red light for kilesa, defilement, and a green light for wholesomeness to arise. Sati, mindfulness, protects the mind so that defilements cannot enter the mind. The mind is guarded and protected by sati, mindfulness. And samadhi, concentration, unifies the mind so that the noting mind falls calm and collected on the object. Samadhi, concentration, keeps the mind unified so that the mind will not scatter or distracted. Having sati present, kilesa, defilements are blocked, they have no chance to arise, and thus the mind will be peaceful momentarily. Even momentary peacefulness is very good. When one attains Ariya Magga, path knowledge, one eradicates kilesa, defilements completely, and at this stage one gets total peace. Exerting effort is to gain the kind of happiness, the highest kind of peace. One needs to exert effort so that one gains the highest kind of peace, and this should be one's main objective, to attain the highest peace. It is called Paramatha Patiya. One should exert effort so that one gains the highest goal of the highest peace. So, in order to gain total peace, one needs to develop momentary peace. That is, one should exert effort to note the object. When the factors, mindfulness and concentration, are present, there will be momentary peace. And when we accumulate momentary peace over and over again, finally we can gain the total peace. In order to gain total peace, one needs to exert 3 stages of effort. The first stage is Arambhadhatu, the element of launching up effort, and Niggamadhatu, stepped up effort in order to overcome laziness and difficulties. And the last stage is Paragamadhatu. One has to put effort stage by stage until one reaches the goal of attaining total peace. A yogi who possesses these 3 stages of effort is called a yogi. It is said that Bhavanaya Yutta Payutataya Yogi. The person who exerts effort stage by stage, a person who exerts initial effort, step up effort stage by stage until one finally reaches one's goal. So this person who exerts effort, all 3 stages of effort, in order to develop both the mind and the knowledge, is called yogi. Yogi is a person who possesses viriya, who possesses all three stages of viriya, effort,